Kwame Sharala. We will rise again. All praise be to the Most High. If you're tuning in to the episode, like the title says, say no to vaccines. I'm not gonna talk too much. I'm gonna jump right into this audio, and then we're gonna just jam out and vibe out to some chill music. So without further ado, I'm gonna go to the audio I'm listening to is called the Thinking Man Templar. That's what his channel is called. This is a very wise man, and I would like for y'all to go and listen to this guy. He has a lot of things to wake a lot of black men and black sisters up from the type of world we're living in today. But I'm not gonna keep y'all too much longer. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in. If you're new to the channel, do like, share, and subscribe. Share the videos. You may not like the gameplay, but the audio is what I'm here for. The gameplay is just me, you know what I mean, just doing my thing. But the audio is the important part. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into this.
Welcome to the Thinking Man's Templar, the place where we say one red pill life for all ways, a billion blue pill lives, and where the soldiers can come in from the wall, remove their armor, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. And indeed, gentlemen, I'm at your service, Patreon exclusive. This video is very impromptu, but it's very late. It's probably like 3 in the morning.
And we can't forget about My Team. 2K22 has built on the My Team seasons from last year and packed in more agendas and rewards. Earn XP by completing various agendas and challenges to work your way to the top, where the level 40 reward will be waiting for you. For Season 1, there's none other than Pink Diamond Carmelo Anthony.
I want to thank all you patrons as well.
Season 1 is in full swing, and it's been great to see the community taking part in everything. So go out there and continue working towards the top, because Season 2 will be here before you know it.
See, I want a lot of you men to understand that when you're standing on this side of the fence, when we're standing and looking out and looking back at the world we left, or the world we plan on leaving, you realize that the matriarchy does not constitute or promote the growth of black men. It does not promote the growth psychologically, emotionally, intellectually. The evolution of black men is not a priority for the matriarchy. Because in order for you to be subservient to the matriarchy, your suffrage, your suffering, your lack of development needs to be a priority of the matriarchy in order for you to be in service of the matriarchy. Are you following me? In order for you to be a potential sperm donor or some serviceman of the matriarchy, or a husband or some type of boyfriend or someone to serve this woman, your development cannot be a part of the plan. You can't be a man that's seeking higher heights. You can't be a man that's seeking greater level of education. You can't be a man that's seeking to change his life for the better. You have to be a man who does not care for his own development, but is willing to be of service to the development of the women in the matriarchy. That is the key. That is the point. If you don't you literally, at this point, the only way for you men to survive the matriarchy is to completely, and I mean completely, remove yourself from it. There's no other way to do it. I mean, you literally have to disappear. Because if you don't, the matriarchy is going to do everything in its power to pull you back into it. It's going to be pulling you back into it. The psychosis of the matriarchy also is material. The material hindrances we do as men, the cars, the houses, the cribs, the things that you have to write your name on to get it. You become fodder for society. You become a cog in a machine. Somebody's making money off you. That's what the matriarchy is. That's what society governs. That's why society needs women in some sorts of ways to keep governing and raising the men, because it creates men who operate in a consumeristic mentality. Men that will spend money on overpriced cars, depreciating assets, houses that they have to keep a mortgage for 20, 30 years, and they won't be able to move around and be as free as they should be. They have to train men to think like women. See, women think like that. Women think in a manner where they don't care about the future. All they care about is right now, right? And these men that follow these, I guess, ideologies, they find themselves trapped. See? Now, the reason why, when you finally wake up to this, and the reason why a lot of you men are on this Patreon, is because you're starting to look around you and you see the world around you isn't real. You're starting to see that the women around you aren't really there for your benefit. And you notice that if you ever challenge them, right? These same women who you think care for you, especially a lot of us black men who live in families that are dominated by women. See, you didn't even realize that was going on. You see a lot of broken older men around you. These men around you are broken. Your older uncles and cousins, they're all fucking simps and just fucking bucks, you know? And once you start to realize that, you don't want to be a part of that. But what a lot of you men are starting to realize is that these women in your family mean you no good. And especially when you challenge them. I dare you. Or even tell me a story when you thought these women in your family, from your mothers to your aunts, I dare you to ever challenge them and watch how fast they gang up on you and try to beat you back into submission. Verbally, sometimes physically. Go ahead, go to the family cookout and challenge these women and be a man and be an authoritarian and watch how quickly they change the tides on you. Watch. You understand? Because they're going to do what their teacher, they are a mirror image of their masters. You understand? When you challenge, a lot of these guys, these white men you'll see, they'll be real cool with you, but let you ever challenge their authority and see how fast they're going to switch on you. These women are basically, by proxy, the extension of white supremacy through them, which we all know, right? But a lot of you men really don't want to believe that part. That part is a little hard for you to digest. I know, I understand. It's not easy. That's why I say, a lot of you men, you have to treat the matriarchy like a plantation, a literal plantation, where you have to run for your life. Because if you don't run for your life, it's going to pull you back in. It's going to pull you back in. It's going to sabotage your progress. And this can be from your mother, your sisters, your aunties, your cousins, your nieces, whoever the fuck. They're going to try to prevent you from making this move. So any of you men who are planning an exodus, who are planning to leave the country, who's planning to leave your state, who's planning to leave your city, and get away from the matriarchy that has raised you up, you have to do it in silence. You have to just do it. Because if you start telling people, these motherfuckers are going to do their best to prevent you from making that move, because you are not supposed to take your resource away from the matriarchy. And that resource can be by proxy of your mom, your sister, these women in your family that have not given you the tools to be a man at all. They literally raised you to fail. You owe them nothing. You understand? You owe them nothing. A lot of you men, these women did not raise you and did not care to raise you to be anything but fodder for the system. Another slave at a job, another man sitting in a cell, another man just being subservient to the system. They did not teach you the principles of manhood so that you can survive on your own, independently, autonomously to yourself. Wherever you wanted to be on the planet, they did not give you the tools. You had to go out and pick these tools up out of the garbage for yourself. You had to create these tools. You do not owe them anything for pushing you out of their wombs. That is not what life is about. You literally got to vanish from the matriarch. You have to run. You understand? You have to turn around and walk away and don't say a word. I challenge any of you men who plan on leaving the country or do anything like that. Because you already know when you tell people you're traveling or what you're about to do, all they got to do is tell you negative things to make you sway you. Look at these maggles and all these matriarchal minions on YouTube trying to sway black men from leaving. That's by proxy. Those are the people who are representative of those in your close proximity just on YouTube, because those people in your family, they all think the same way. They're going to say the same things. So you get a representation of that on YouTube to know that the matriarchy and the men of the matriarchy and the women of the matriarchy, they're all going to say the same shit. And they're all going to become highly disrespectful, even violent, if you dare challenge. You men have to really come up with your game plan. When I tell you this, I mean this. You have to come up with a game plan that is executable. I don't care what it has to do, what you have to do in order to make this work. You got to make the sacrifices. You got to put in the work, the diligence. You got to get the skills. You understand? And figure that shit out. Because there's not a lot of time left here. This shit is going to hit the fan. It's going to hit the fan hard, man. This society, evil sits at the throne of this society. And this place ain't going to last long. This society is literally coming undone right in front of your eyes. Literally coming undone right in front of your eyes. This video is literally a warning to you, men. A lot of you men that might be in the scriptures, you might not be. Listen, man. This place is coming undone. And once it becomes like a Sodom and Gomorrah type place, this shit is over. You understand? This country is not going to be able to defend itself the way it pretends it can. It doesn't create enough soldiers in the streets. It wants too many effeminized men to rule over, but they don't want men who can challenge the system, but there's no men to defend the streets. This place is easy food. That's why the rest of the world is just plotting on how they're going to do it. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So you got to go get your bug out bag and be ready to make a move when it's time to make a move, man. This is a serious warning. And a lot of you men are still have these albatrosses around your neck. These fucking cars and these cribs and these fucking women and all this shit that you've accumulated that means nothing. It's almost like you what you thought you were doing was gathering treasure. You're gathering treasure all your life. These false treasures, fool's gold, right? And you've been gathering all this fool's gold all your life, and you have this treasure chest that you've accumulated and amassed all of this so-called wealth and value. And then one day you're gonna look in that fucking shelf or that treasure chest, and it's gonna be dust. It's literally gonna be dust, because all of those coins you thought you were getting were really dirt and dust coated in gold, and it was nothing. It was valueless. And you have to realize that. That's why we tell you, get rid of all that bullshit, man. It's just an albatross. Leave all that credit and all that bullshit alone, man. It ain't nothing but a trick. It ain't nothing but a scam. And something else that's gonna keep you tied to a system that you don't need to be a part of. And let's get back to that matriarchy. These motherfuckers in this matriarchy have never given you the tools to properly be the man you're supposed to be. You had to go out and figure it out. You had to come to YouTube. You had to come to Thinking Man's Templar's Patreon. You had to listen to Thinking Man's Templar videos, Black Ram videos, whoever's videos. These men had to step outside of their own lives just to give you the information to help you get the fire behind your back, to change the trajectory and direction you were going, so that you knew that you were actually running top speed in the wrong direction. For the last 10 to 15 years, most of you men been running top speed in the wrong direction. And now you're looking at it and saying, oh shit, now you gotta run back double speed just to catch up with the rest of society, the rest of men in society. Because these men been trained and governed to move the right way since they were young. We're talking about the Latino man, the Indian Arab man, the white man, the Asian man. You understand? They've all been shot out of a cannon from their teenage years in the right direction. And you've been trained to run top speed in the wrong direction. Now you have to turn around and run back, catch up, and then try to win the race. You weren't given the tools. You were actually misdirected by the matriarchy. The matriarchy trained you to run in the wrong direction, to worry about the wrong things, to pursue the wrong things, while everybody else is moving in the right direction, including those matriarchal women. Or those matriarchy women were just waiting for you. They were just sitting on their asses, getting pumped up with babies, right? Living a life of leisure, a hedonistic life full of sex, liquor, and good times and parties, getting pumped up with babies, waiting for you to catch up with the rest of the men in society and make some of yourself so that then they can become fodder and leeches off you. Give you that old used box, and then all of a sudden now you're back. Now you're part of the matriarchy because now you're a useful idiot. But really, that's only until you tire out and you break, just like a horse or ox that breaks his leg. They shoot it in the head. And they throw it out and chop it up and do whatever they do with it. That's why you see these men that's walking around, homeless, older men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, walking up and down the street delirious. Those are the results of the matriarchal man never realizing what's happening to him. And then he becomes fodder. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that matriarchal-minded man. You have to run. You have to walk away. You have to go and never look back. I know a lot of you don't want to hear that. Hold on 1 second. All right, my fault. Now, back to what he's saying. Truck. Alright, so, excuse me, sorry about that. Now, I was talking to Grinch, right, and we were talking about how, like, he's making the moves to get himself separated, right? And he's noticing, you don't really notice, I said that in the video, if it's on here, about how matriarchal men don't like men traveling, and I said, it's because these men look up, because when we start talking like this, right, these men start to analyze their own lives, right? Because what we're saying is an indictment on their women that they love so much, their queens, and them. So these men start to look at their lives and they don't realize that they have these chains around their ankles. These things that they thought were things of value, the fool's gold I was talking about, they start to realize that it's a fool's paradise. They look up and start to notice the change. See, once you unlock from the main, and then you're ready to be like SYPM or just whatever the fuck, right? You don't realize these chains around your neck and ankles, these albatrosses and these shackles, until you awaken to the reality of who is, and you're ready to get out of Dodge. Then you look up and say, you don't realize the chains. That's the thing. These things we thought were value, these expensive cars and all this bullshit. That materialistic thinking we've been trained our whole life because we've been trained under the umbrella of gynocentrism and materialistic bullshit. That's how women think. So then when you want freedom, you want the world to be your oyster. You want to be free, right? You don't realize that is codependent upon this bullshit, fucking this matriarchy that's been holding you back all your life. Literally. It's like you're literally jacked into it. That's why when you come, it's like when you look at us, right? You guys, some of you guys are like the people that are walking around in the Matrix. This is what Grinch said, and he said this was so. It was like the last thing we said before my phone accident, but I remember this because he was making such a fucking. We're like, it's like he said, all you people, we only come into the regular world to save you guys. You understand? We come because everybody can potentially be an agent, and that's including your own family, right? Everybody, until they're unplugged, you got to consider them almost an enemy because they can become an agent at any moment. And as we see on YouTube, you can see that a lot of these so-called red pill dudes, are showing their agent face, right? They're switching because now we've hit a nerve with this escape black man shit, right? And these motherfuckers are beginning to become very hostile. The women are becoming more hostile towards us. So you gotta prevent that from happening in your own life. That's why we say you gotta move in silence. Don't tell nobody your plans. Don't tell nobody what you want to do. Just do it quietly. Definitely don't tell girlfriends or women that you were planning on leaving or you don't want to listen. Black men all know you can't just break up with black women. You can't just leave them. You have to literally make an escape plan and leave them in silence because they're gonna fucking try to ruin you, right? Now back to the point about the Matrix. Men like us who use this platform in order to rescue and save you men and lift you out of this shit. We exist in Zion for the most part, right? A world of freedom. A world where a man like me, I can do basically whatever I want to do, right? I can go where I want to go. I can get up and go to another country whenever I feel like it, right? I'm free. It's like Zion, right? And you people, you guys, some of you are still in the system. And what we do is we log in because I don't have any social media anywhere. I don't exist on Facebook. I don't exist on these platforms. And if I did, I do have an Instagram, but I never use it, right? So when I pop into social media world, it's only to rescue you, right? It's only to rescue you with these messages. It's only to give you a message. Just like Morpheus did with Neo. He would come in through his computer and talk to him. I'm only here to give you the message. And then you have to be Neo, and you got to crawl out of that office building and figure out how to get out of there before them agents get you. All I can do is give you the directions. Go straight, go left, go right, go up, go down. Go up to the next desk. Wait. That's all I can do is give you the directions. And when I tell you, if you want to get out of the matriarch, if you want to get out of the matrix, you have to move in silence. You cannot tell anyone what you're doing. You understand? Not even your own friends. Your friends are going to turn on you. I promise you. You understand? Because you're not going to realize who's the matriarchal-minded people in your group until you start to speak like this about leading. Because when you speak about SYSBM, it's a direct indictment on their lives. And these people are going to take, these people who think that they're dominant of you, especially these women who think that they are above you and superior to you, are going to take that as offense and they're going to try to sabotage it. Trust me. So what we do is we come in and I deliver the message. And then what I do, I run back into the office, I pick up the phone, and then I do it and slide back into the real world. So this message is being broadcasted just for you. From Zion, for the most part. And once I drop this message, that's why you look and say, damn, he doesn't drop a lot of videos all the time. It's because I'm out in the real world. And then I feel the pressure of the things that are going left, and then it has to be, the video has to come from the heart, man. I can't sit and script these videos and shit. I gotta speak it straight from the heart for you guys, so you can understand that this is real. You gotta feel it in my words. Like, this is not a game. I'm not playing with you. To get away from the matriarchy, you literally have to vanish without a trace. And I know a lot of you can't do that, or you're not willing to do that. But trust me, if you want to do that, and even if that, and this doesn't mean going to another country. I'm talking about if you just want to move to another state and get away from the people in your family. Get away from the ex, or the ex-wife, or the ex-girlfriend, or get away from the current girlfriend, or the maggles that you live around. Dog, you literally gotta just get up and vanish. Talking about save your money up, get a transfer from your job, get a bunch of interviews lined up in another state, whatever you gotta do, and literally just get up and leave and don't say shit. And just leave that matriarchy. Now, if you go within the states, you could pretty much find isolation, which is a good thing, and stay away from that mentality. Don't date women who think like that. Don't date gynocentric women. You understand? Don't date matriarchal women. Don't even fuck them. Don't even sleep with them. Because you fucking them is your servitude to her. She said she gets to lay on her back, and while you sitting there huffing and puffing and sweating like a slave, like you tossing hay over your shoulder in a goddamn plantation. You understand? Like you picking cotton. That goddamn that black box is basically the cotton you're picking. Especially with them little nappy hairs. Yeah, it's just like picking cotton, bro. And what you doing? You out there sweating like a slave. And how that look, think about how that looked to a woman laying on her back, getting pleasure with her legs open while you sitting there sweating and huffing and puffing like a fool. Instead of her servicing you. You see what I'm saying? It's that deep, man. Even to the psychology of it. She thinks she's giving you a gift. Not you giving her something. She feels like she's allowing you. She's giving you permission to get that used box. Don't even fuck them, man. Because when they so choose it, and they need to get some sperm out you or something and all that, they'll let you take your little condom off. Because she's in heat and she's ovulating and she wants you to knock her up. And a lot of you dumbasses are going to do it. Don't even fuck them, man. Because when they got an agenda against you, they have no hesitation. They won't have no hesitation in sacrificing you for their benefit. You understand? So I'm going to leave this message with you guys. Just think of it like that, man. All your plans, don't tell nobody. Don't tell your moms. Don't tell nobody, man. You just got to go. Just go. Make it happen. Alright? Because the matriarchy does not design it for men to succeed. It doesn't design it for black men to succeed at all. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to fail. You understand? So you have to figure out a way to get away. They did not give you the tools. They did not set you up in this life so that you can be successful in a way where they actually had to. They didn't have anything to do with any successes you ever had. Put it like that. They had nothing to do with it. They literally threw you out to the wolves and let you just figure it out for the rest of your life. Because she didn't choose. The reason why men leave, and let me just answer that question, is because these matriarchal women didn't create an environment where men could thrive, or where men could feel like they belonged. A lot of you red pill men at this point, even the black pill men, y'all realize that there's no place for you to be. It's just a fucking house full of women. You go to your barbecues and your family gatherings, it's just a bunch of women and simps. You understand? They didn't choose an environment that would make you want to say. These women didn't think enough of you to pick men that would be around. They picked men that they wanted to fuck. And they had the babies of men that they just wanted to fuck and wanted to fuck them. And they didn't think enough of you, the product of that, to pick a man that actually wanted to be a father. So she didn't give a shit about you when she was making you. You see what I'm saying? You were an accident. You just came about. And she had to deal with the consequences of her bad choices in men when he left her. Right? So now, don't go for that narrative that these men are all evil. They chose these men on purpose. They weren't thinking about you. They were being selfish. Trying to get a nut. They found them a nice little buck that was going to serve them, and they just got handled. And here you are. And she didn't set it up for you to even have a man that would give two fucks about you. Somebody that would keep you around. That would make you want to stay around. Because you had another counterpart in the household. A male. Your father. She didn't think enough of you to keep your father around. So what the fuck do you owe these people? What the fuck do you owe these people? There were good men around. Always. It was always good brothers around. It was always good fathers around in the 60s and 70s and the 80s and 90s. They were always good men around. They all could have chose good men. There were good men around all the time. But they did not want those men. They did not want those men to be your father. They wanted the street dude or the hustler or the pimp or the playboy or the pretty boy or the guy who was married already and the guy who she was just smashing. That guy she chose to be your father. The guy who didn't give a fuck about his future. She wanted that guy to be your father. Even though that guy wasn't going to stay around and be around for you. You don't owe these people nothing, man. You don't owe them anything. Appreciate you men on the Patreon. I had to wake up in the middle of the night to drop this video for you guys, man. I'm gonna get back to sleep. Finish, get some sleep. I gotta work in the morning, handle this business, drop this load. Got the Colombia video coming up. It's just gonna be a breakdown of what it is and what to expect if you guys go there. I enjoyed the trip. I didn't enjoy it as much as Thailand. It had its negatives, but it had its positives as well. I'm probably gonna do, my next trip is probably gonna be Brazil, finally. And then I'll be making my way back to Southeast Asia. Probably the Philippines next and shit like that, and bounce around there. Fuck that coronavirus shit, man. I'm not gonna let these people keep me. Cause think about it, man. I don't believe what the media says about a place, because every fucking couple years there's always some goddamn something that they try to keep you scared to go other places and shit. You ever notice that? Now that everybody's trying to get the fuck out of America, now they got all these damn diseases and shit to make you not want to leave. You know what I'm saying? They need you here. They need us here. Alright? But anyway, I'm going to get back to sleep, man. You guys enjoy the video. Leave your comments down below. And I'll see you in the comment section. TMT. Peace. And also, thank you guys. Thank you for all your contributions. Thank you for holding on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Got a little busy with work and all of that stuff. And the shit got a little hectic coming back from my trip. So I didn't really have the time. I'm starting to realize more and more that I need to get a laptop. And I need to really get, my phone is running out of data. So you know, it's probably the last video I could do till I get another SD card. But yeah, you guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Just keep fighting. You already know. Cover your 6. It's TMT, man. Peace. Peace. This is the Ghost God. It's been a long time, but I'm back. Real quick, just had a couple thoughts on my mind. I see a lot of the videos going around about, you know, interracial and Pookies and Ray Rays and all that kind of shit. And my take on that, I just thought to myself today, you know, had a thought. There comes a day when us men, every man, you know, once he becomes red pill, your history of your life begins to open up. The things from your past start to make more sense. The things from your childhood begin to resonate. The things that you were raised into, the way you were raised starts to resonate. It starts to make sense how a lot of those things were hurting you. Some of those things may have been helping you, whatever. Your past, your childhood, all these things, it's like you start to connect all the dots. You connect all the dots that make you the man you are right now, right? And a lot of us, most of us, we realize that unequivocally, black culture is fucked. Black culture is fucked up. Once you realize it looking back, or while you stand in it, or once you stand outside of it and look at it, you realize black culture is fucked up. And most black men, once they get out of the juggernaut of growing up this way, where the women are put on a pedestal and the men are literally led to the slaughterhouse from their childhood, and if you were able to escape that maze and get out on the red pill side of things and see the world as it is, as an escapee, with all the scars and trauma that we hold right now, but still have our intellect intact and our wisdom, right? We stand here and we realize black culture is fucked up. And why, oh why would I put my child in a situation, if I were to have children, to go through that again, or to have to experience black culture? Black men just want to start over. Black men get the worst of black culture. We get the murders, we get the drugs, we get the jail, we get the police guns. We just want to get out. And these black bitches try to shame us into staying. When they don't face the same issues. They face issues now, but not to the degree of us. Because if they follow their program, they usually get off scot-free or get an easy ride through it. They get advantages. And it's fine, you know? It's cool, it's whatever. I still made it my way, you know? Right now, I'm currently, you know, moving into a new career, new direction. I'm in trucking school right now, and I'm just doing it simply so I can just free myself and get off the grid and just be out of touch, you know? Make money without having to be anywhere. I can be anywhere I want to be, you know? I was in the corporate world for a long time. I just don't want to be there no more. It's too gynocentric, too women run. I can't do it anymore. I know too much. Being in these corporate worlds, the last place I worked was overrun with women. I literally couldn't take it. It was too much. It was a lot of black women there. It was a lot of cattiness, pettiness. They treated the place, felt like high school almost. I had to get out of there quick. But anyway, moving on. So here I am, opening up my life to move in the opposite direction. Now, for me to go through all I went through and then to find myself back, reattaching myself to black culture through the black woman that I will get with, that is basically me canceling out everything I've survived. Because that child is going to be raised in black culture, in a culture where more than likely she's going to do her best to keep that child to herself, disengage me, move on with her dating life, and will be co-parenting. Now, that child, when it's not with you, will be with her and her family and black culture. And your child will be re-engulfed in black culture. That's what black men are trying to escape from. That can look back and see it. Just like Mad Bus Driver says, that's your Stargate. They've corrupted, they've put a fucking glitch in the Stargate that brings children through, and if you still continue to use that Stargate, your children will be subjected to the black culture voodoo. And we don't want that, man. So just now think of this. The things your child learns in black culture, depending on the woman you deal with, right? If she deals with a ratchet woman because you fucked a ratchet woman, which should be punishable by crime, a law, some shit, a weekend in jail, in a drunk tank or something, right? You fuck a ratchet woman, and you have a kid with her. You already know what kind of culture that kid is getting when they're not with you, because you're not going to stay with her, and she's not going to stay with you. She's going to take that baby and go. Once she gets that child support, she's out, and now your baby is a ward to the state, basically. She's going to raise that kid around other ratchet motherfuckers, ratchet shit, and you're going to be basically counter-parenting against the fuck shit she teaches your kid, right? If it's a girl, my heart to you, you know? If you deal with one of these educated sisters, you know, the high and mighty, I don't need a man sisters, you know, you're going to fight that mentality that's going to be downloaded into your child, especially your daughter. She's going to be programmed with that I don't need you, you know, and she's probably going to make it a living hell for you, man. You know, it's just even if you're one of those dudes who get off and have a good co-parenting situation, you know, but who wants that? Who wants that co-parenting shit? We almost normalize that. That's almost normal for us. And we look at that like that's the thing. You know, yeah, well, as long as I get the co-parent. No, man. That's not normal, man. We normalized dysfunctional behavior in the worst sense. And now that I'm older, you know, I'm 37, and I look at the world with different eyes, you know, different ears. I speak less, I watch more, listen more, and that's how you become wise. You don't gain wisdom by speaking. You share wisdom by speaking. Yes? So, we get to this point where I don't want my children, if I were to have children, not saying that I would, because I'm perfectly fine without either, but I would want a family, at least. A woman who understands family, who understands her feminine role in the family as the caregiver, you know, and women from other cultures still understand that. That's literally it. You know, I was talking to one of these Spanish guys, Mexican guys, in my trucking school I'm in, and he talks about his wife. You know, he said I was lucky. You know, God blessed me to have a wife who was, you know, still raised in the culture. You know, she still has Mexican culture. You know how to be a wife and cook and clean, and she cooks great, and she knows, and she still grew up with to be a wife. You know, and he's that's what they celebrate in their women. You know, we don't get that shit, man. That's the fucking key right there. Other cultures of women still have a culture of family. An Indian woman, your kid will have Indian culture, and your red pill culture. You know, whatever. We're basically nomads at this point. We're men with no home. We have no home. We're men of no culture, men of no home. Our culture is what we begin now, what we start now, what Ibmore men start now, what MGTOW men start with now, SYSBM. What you start with now is the culture that you carry right now. What you believe, that's your culture. Being that our culture is based on separatism. So if we're based on separatism, everything that you believe right now is the culture that your child will get. Because more than likely, you guys may be pretty distant from your family. You know, I'm pretty distant from my family. You know, I'm pretty much a lone wolf by definition. I have friends here, friends there. but mostly I'm a solo flyer, and I love it. Now, this woman that you meet, say she's from Dominican Republic, or somewhere in Asia, or somewhere in the Middle East, or India, or South America, whatever the case. The culture of family is the culture that she will bring on top of her culture's culture. Because black culture, American black culture is fucked. You don't want that. We want that to die. We want black culture to cease to exist. So you want to cut that off like a gangrenous limb. You want to cut it off. And that is cut off the woman who will teach black culture. The first teacher of the child is the woman. The woman will reteach the new and improved dysfunction to your new child. And you have to be smart and wise enough not to allow that to happen again. It's not about looks. It's not about looks. It's not about colorism and all this shit they try to shame you with to make you feel like you hate yourself because you do not want to continue on with a culture that is dying, it's dead, and it should not go forth another generation. If you, a man, have escaped black culture, why would you want to share a child with a woman who still upholds and rehashes new stereotypes and new life into a dead culture that is a wasteland of dysfunction? And she's going to reteach that to your child. And it's just going to be a battle to unlearn and relearn the shit that she's teaching to your kid. If you can even get to the child. You see what I'm saying? The culture of separate parenting that black people have is bad. It's fucked. You know? Culture of children with no family, not contract, but just the establishment of a family is fucked. The pedestalization of the woman and the castration of the male, the emasculation of the male is fucked. The value of black man's life in this country is fucked. Why would you want to take it from a woman who idolizes the supremacist culture that is destroying her men? Whether it's consciously or subconsciously. Why would you want a culture where the women don't be wives until they've lost their intrinsic value to a man, which is fertility? What kind of man finds value in women who do that to the best men in their group and waste their years on the worst men in their group and give the best men, they actually take away your lineage, because by the time they get around to the good brothers, they're not even fertile anymore, man. You know, they're not even fertile. They're coming with some bum's children. It just doesn't make sense. It just sounds ludicrous to me. It just sounds, any man that does that, I just feel for him. You know, I have a cousin who's in that situation. I just don't get it. Anyone who would want to put themselves in that situation. You know, you have to be very steadfast and stand on your principles, man. You know, stand on code. Stay on code at all times. You know, you're learning these things. You have brothers teaching you the game. You have Warren Lance. You have Kid Organic. You have Black Ram. You have Adigoon Forest. You know, Kitty Doc, what's his name? Kitty Doc A. Jones, if I said it right. You know, David Carroll. You know, it goes on and on. The list goes on and on. You got Mental OG. You got SBW. You got Negro Ninja. You got Alpha Male Strategies. You got Book of Alpharonomy. I mean, with that there alone, all you brothers who didn't grow up with a father, you're getting all the game in an accelerated course and with the maturity to handle the information. Maybe that's how God intended us to grow, without our fathers. We'll teach each other when we get of age. All the men who survived the juggernaut of growing up in the same spirit. The Most High walked us through this. We never had no real losses. We never sat in prison for an extended amount of time. Not all of us. We didn't really destroy our lives. We got out on the good end of things, with our maturity and our intellect fully intact. Red pill, proud men, wise men. And now we have each other to teach, with the wisdom of the survival that we've made it through. And now we can teach one another and help each other. This is a beautiful thing, gentlemen. So once you get to this point, why would you put your seed in a woman who's going to basically override everything that you know and download the fucking culture that you spent 20, 30 years trying to escape back into your child, and you have to do it all over again? That's all we're saying. I tend to have a liking towards Indian women. They're very ladylike, they're very feminine, they're very family oriented. And they're just and they're pretty too, you know. They just have a niceness to us. I mean, black women wear their hair, you know. Come on. I mean, they're just beautiful women. They're pretty brown complexion. Is that colorism? Most Indian women are brown like me, if not darker. So, is that colorism? No. Asian women, Asian culture is very family oriented. They put the male where he's supposed to be in the family. They treat the genders properly in Asian culture. They teach work ethic and respect and honor in Asian culture. Your kid, think about what your kid will know. Your kid will learn, you know? Your culture, you're a very wise man. You know black history. You know of your history. You know of enough. You study enough. You research enough to pass down enough black culture that is proper and right and exact to your child. You know what I mean? You are black culture, brother. If you're a man of sense and you know things and you have an understanding of things, you understand things. You understand the way the world is going. You understand what it is. That is the culture you teach. That is the culture that you transfer to your child, along with the family-oriented culture that this woman comes with from this other culture, from this other background. You have to, brother. It's the only way for you to truly be. Now, most in Immoor, they don't really promote dating white women or dating out and things like that. But, you know, I just ask this, where else can we go, you know? And I'm not saying Immoor says you don't, I think it's white women or something like that. I think it's white women. But other, you know, women of brown skin, African women, also, yeah, African women, you know, women from Ghana, Eritrean, Ethiopian, oh, those women, Somalian women are bad, you know, like, they're there, man. They're here, too. If they're not too Americanized, you might have a chance, you know? But these other cultures of women, it's not colorism. I love brown complexions. All shades, you know? Me, personally, the lighter complexion, you know, I kind of lose an attraction, you know? Asian women are light, but there's pretty Asian women, and there's, you know, darker ones. It is what it is, you know, Thai women and Indonesian women and Filipino women. It's all there, man. It's all there. You have different, you know, a different perspective. But, you know, you might have to lose out on that fat asses and the shit they swear is of value still. You know, a fat ass, we all fucked a fat ass, and, you know, what did it get you? You know what I mean? Like, be honest. What did that fat ass actually benefit you other than pleasure? It jiggling, but what did it do for you? Was that woman attached to that fat ass worth a damn? Did she cheat on you? Did she abuse you? Did she lie to you? Did she steal from you? Did she, deceive you? Did she break your... Did she shit on your emotions? Did she treat you fucked up? That fat ass that comes with that American succubus, as my brother Ram would say. What did that fat ass benefit you? Me personally, I was never a fat ass man. I like the slimmies. So if I get a woman from anywhere, I don't really give a fuck. Personally. It's not about that shit. Evolve, please. Fuck all that. Evolve. Black men, we are the evolution of black men here. We are black men 2.0 here. So now we have to forge our way and begin to rebuild for our lives, because you get your life, I get my life. How you choose to manifest your life is up to you. But you have to do something. You have to make a move. What's that move gonna be? What's the move, man? This is the ghost guard. I'm trying to get an understanding here. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? How are you gonna do it? Your goal is to escape black culture. It is fucked up, and it's never gonna change. It is toxic, poisonous, and dysfunctional. You do not want that downloaded into your child. You want to take your child as far away from it as possible. You want your child to be brought up as far away from it as possible. So how do you do that? How? You're going to have to expand your horizons. You're going to have to evolve. I'm attracted to American black women, but less and less. It's not really, they're beautiful ones. I look at them and I see beautiful ones. It's the mind, It's the mind. It's the mind, man. They're beautiful. There's beautiful black women in this country. Beautiful, man. I see them every day. I'm in California. But I see other beautiful women too, And it's the mentality, man. American women mentality in general is fucked. So that in itself, you should want to escape from that too, to find a woman who's really astutely grounded in her culture. It's doable, yeah, definitely. But coming from a black household, I don't know, man. Because most likely, here's the thing we always say. She grew up with her father, she didn't grow up with her father, this and that, right? Here's the thing. In the 70s, in the 60s, when women began to liberate themselves sexually, a lot of women were buck wild, man. They were fucking a lot of men. And a lot of babies came from that. Right? There were a lot of women having kids, not knowing who the fathers were. There were a lot of men raising these children in the 70s, thinking they're the father of these children, never were. There were a lot of simps. There were always simps. There were simps in the 70s, there were simps in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and now. There were always fucking simps. Some of these dudes who are raising these daughters are the fucking dudes who got the woman on her back nine. That was so happy to be with her after she done fucked everybody back in the day. And now you get her. Now you're fucking happy as shit that you got this woman that used you as her last option. This is the new, those simps in the 70s were worse than the simps we have now, because those simps were completely unbeknownst to the game. They were happy to be simps. They were proud simps. And these are the simps that are raising a lot of these fucking chicks. You know what I mean? A lot of these women were raised by these motherfuckers. So just because she has a father in the house, if he's going around saying that happy wife, happy life shit, and the mom seems, when you go see her family, her mom seems to run the show, yeah, that man was a fucking simp.
No,
things just like a fucking mother. You know what I mean? You gotta be, man, you gotta be a mercenary out there, man. You gotta shoot to kill. And if you don't got the shot, man, walk away. If it ain't the shot you want, if it ain't perfect, if it ain't the environment you need, get out of there. Just like a scientist or a biochemist, they need the environment to be stable. They need the environment to be perfect. You know? They need the material to be perfect. Like, just like Warren Lance, he always talks about material and light. And you have to think about it. You have material, you have clay, you have steel, you have earth, agriculture, you have wood, you have ore, metal, melted metal, steel. You know, all these different elements that are material that can be turned into other things, right? And men being the engineers of the material, the woman being the material, the man being the engineer. Do you follow me? The engineer, the builder, the creator of the material, because women mimic the men they're with. It's just what they do. But I ask you, when you think of materials, what are the best materials? Used materials? If you want clay that other men have molded? Or do you want raw clay? You want clay that other men have heated into broken pottery and now you have to use it again? It's useless. Do you want wood that other men have chopped and cut? Or do you want raw material? Do you want raw, untouched steel? Or do you want steel that's already been turned into something? Now you have to break it down and remelt it. Or do you want steel that's already in a building material? You want raw, untouched, untainted. These women have been around the block, bro. More than you. She's fucked more men than you fucked women. Oh yeah. She knows you, in and out. This is nothing new. This ain't her first rodeo, and it won't be her last, brother. These women are tainted. They're not raw materials. As an engineer, you can't be the best engineer if you do not have access to raw materials. Black culture does not produce raw materials for black men, the engineers, to produce. So I say go find raw materials so that you can build something. And if you don't have the means to do so, build yourself. If you have to walk alone, pack light and walk. You don't owe anybody anything. If you're at peace, you're at peace. It's fine. If this information doesn't apply because you're fully MGTOW and you've chosen that path, my blessings to you, brother. If you're already SYSBM and you're already there, my power to you, brother. If you're more, my blessings, more power to you. But remember, this is just the core of the understanding, these tenets that we follow. Now it's about the follow-up, finishing what you started. Keep learning, always. Keep your red pill dosage on high dosage. Keep your eyes wide. Cover your six. Stay frosty. At all times, know your enemies. Keep your eyes peeled, your ears wide, and your mouth shut. Unless you're teaching another. And as of right now, you need to focus on gathering as many resources as possible without putting yourself in prison or in a grave. Think. Think, think, and think. Think every move out. Don't do anything on impulse. Right now, right here and now, right now, in this day, in this moment, every man in the sound of my voice understands that You have a choice. You're here. You're already here. You're halfway. That's half the battle. You're already listening. So now your next choice is, what do you do? Once this information sinks in and you eternalize it, like Black Rim says, and walk it out, like he says. Walk it out, and you become it. Once the mind internalizes it, your body follows. And your vision changes. The things you hear, you see things different. You hear things different. You notice things you didn't notice before. You have to relearn. You have to relearn. Give it time. Reconnect the dots. Reflect. Then come to your understanding. And you'll look at all of this shit differently. You'll look at your women differently. You look at black women differently. And you'll see the qualities in them that you chased before. And you'll realize that most of them, not all, but most of them, have very toxic ways about them. You can love them. You can admire them. But be very careful. Be very careful. You see other women? I go around California. I see other cultures of women with their men pushing forth. Mexican men who don't have a lot. They have their families. You know, almost 43, 44% of black men are childless and without children. 23% of black men, 24% I think, are unmarried and with child. And almost 58% of black women have children by more than one man. Who's doing all the fucking out here? Who's fucking more, black women or black men? And you talk about you don't take care of your children. I don't know a black man who doesn't take care of his child. Or wants to, or tries to. The men that are walking away, they're talking about that 23%. All these women are fucking the same 23% of men, yo. It's okay. It's okay. Just let it, it's going to sort itself out, right? Sorry about that, gentlemen. Sorry about that. Let you all come back in. Wait for everybody to come back in. Go ahead and enter. We had a little issue. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Kind of knocked my joint down quick. To make sure we're gonna do it right this time. Go ahead and if you're gonna donate, go ahead and use the link in the description. Donate the pump. That's a little easier for me. If it's MGTOW, how you doing, brother? If anybody wants to donate, go ahead and do it via PayPal. It's a little easier. That super chat shit is kind of wonky. You know what I mean? Peace to everybody in the chat. Go ahead and show your love by throwing a like. Go ahead and greet your brothers. Go ahead and greet your brothers in the chat. Throw up your shields and your swords. Can all you brothers hear me? Yeah, thank you so much. Sound clarity is better. It's good. Yeah, we're going to wait till more people get in. We're going to do the intro on your way in. Go ahead and like. Go ahead and hit that like button. Good to see all you brothers in here on a Saturday. Today's Saturday, right? Good to see all you brothers. I know everybody's been running and hustling and trying to make ends meet. Mr. Jackson, peace, brothers. Everybody in the chat, show your love. Get 5 on your way in. Hit that like button. Put your sword, your shield down. Everyone relax. We're going to talk about a few things today. You know, it's been a lot of crazy events in the manosphere, and I've just been sitting back watching, just paying attention to a lot of a lot of questionable behavior, a lot of things just going on in society that have been questionable. And the whole point of this chat is to kind of say, like, everything that it's all around you if you really pay attention to it. It's so many subtle signs, you know? Yes, we definitely are in the last days, and if you're paying attention, definitely pay attention. You can definitely see the little triggers of things that the only red pill men can see. Definitely. Kiriake, what's up, brother? Only red pill men can see these things. And I'll jump in the intro in a second, like the precursor. I'll tell you exactly something very subtle I noticed. I was watching Regina King. You know who Regina King, the actress, is? She played in 227 back in the day. Black woman, black movies. Regina King. You guys know who I'm talking about? Peace to all you brothers. Good luck. Freelance. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Anybody new that's coming in, hit the like button. If you feel the urge to want to donate, go ahead and hit the link in the description. We're not messing with that super chat shit. That shit is fucking some bullshit. It's like they just hate Ray Charles, Hermit. Alright, so basically what I'm saying is that, Brother Cool, what's up? I think that's Regina Hall. Regina Hall is the one from Scary Movie. Then, Regina King is the one that played Riley in Boondocks. She had the voice for the, Really? Yeah, okay, so if you know of her, anyway. So, she's on Jimmy Kimmel, and she's giving an interview to Jimmy Kimmel. And she's talking about her celebrity crush. And this is a woman that everybody kind of liked and stuff. And, she says her celebrity crush is Sam Elliott. And you see her acting all googly and, ooh, Sam Elliott. Oh my goodness, he's so, ooh. And I didn't know who this man was. I was like, who the hell is Sam Elliott? But in my mind, I should be a white guy. Watch it be a white dude. I bet any amount of money that Sam Elliott is a white man. Any amount of money she took a white guy. I don't bet. I immediately look it up. It's this old slave master looking white dude, man. Crazy. It's all around you, man. Like it's like everything dudes is saying is 100% facts. We won't lead you brothers wrong, man. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. Peace to everybody, man. Love all you guys for showing up. Let's go ahead and jump into it. How about that? Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Templar, the place where we say one red pill life far outweighs a billion blue pill lives. It's also the place where the soldiers keep coming from the war, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. And indeed, gentlemen, I'm... Yep, Jamal and Fowler, yeah, exactly. He played in something else, but yeah, some old, smoky-looking white guy. Looked like he could play the Colonel Sanders if he wanted to. It's like easy to see, man. Today's topic is that today's topic is all around you. Everything. Yeah. Today's topic, basically, we're going to discuss that it's all around you. You see It is not a mistake. Everything that you can see with your red pill eyes, it's not an illusion. It's not a delusion. It's not anything playing with your mind. It is exactly what you see. Right? You can see it in the music, sports. The attack on the imagery of black men is real. The attack on the masculinity of black men is real. It is all around you. It's all around you. You can see it now. The black men are now the face of sexual depravity. Jamal, peace. Black men are now the face of all sexual misconduct. You know, we go through it and you can just see it. The attack is real. First R. Kelly, then Bill Cosby, then R. Kelly, then all these other countless dudes, Chris Brown, and everybody's immediately trying to bury him, and the girl made it up. Even Eve, the rapper, goes on a little liberal white show and condemns Chris Brown on national TV in front of all her white keepers. Oh, it is? Okay. It's popping. Okay. Alright, let's make sure everything is conducive. Can everyone hear me loud and clear? Let's make sure the sound quality is at least decent for you, bro. Yeah, it's no such thing as a coincidence. Yeah, it's not even funny. And she went in there and tried to destroy Chris Brown on TV. Book of Alpharonomy, peace, brother. And she tried to destroy Chris Brown, her keepers. And then she has to go on and apologize because it came out to be a lie. But you were so quick. Okay, all right, Kiriaki, I got you. She was so quick to try to condemn her brother on national TV to her liberals. And then she had to go and apologize when she found out it was a lie. And it's interesting how the words of men mean nothing. The spell of Leviathan, yes sir. You can see it all around you, gentlemen, everywhere you go. When you're out in public, you see your blue pill cuck walking with their women, subservient, with their heads down, pushing the stroller, holding purses. You see all these men around you, completely subjugated. And you walk around with your head up high, and you can see these women glance at you, they look at you, and look at you with disdain, because you bring that area of discomfort of masculinity into the room. And nobody wants a masculine man anymore. And they want black men. Okay. Can you hear me now? Everyone put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clear. Yeah, a lot of spiritual warfare, definitely. A lot of spiritual warfare out there. Let's make sure everyone can hear me. You can hear me a little bit? See Boogie, what's up, brother? Interesting. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to get this audio together. Oh, it's the connection mic. Okay. Everything looks clear on my end. Let's see. Loud, but it's breaking out. Everybody feel the same way about that? Because I was using my headphones at first, but now I'm just talking into the phone. Let's have it laying down. What about now? Everybody put a 1 in. Let me know if you can hear it. good to see all you brothers here on a Saturday morning. State that again, everyone. Hit the like button. Make sure we let everyone know we're here. We're gonna, even went on TV and tried to shit with Chris Brown. Like, they are the attack dogs. Remember that. You know, you guys gotta connect. C Boogie, Alpharonomy. Y'all definitely have a good conversation, I'm sure. Definitely a good conversation. Yeah, she played her attack dog role immediately. All these women you see online with their gossip YouTube channels and trying to put, Chris Brown under the bus or whoever, notice they're the first ones to try to destroy a brother's name, destroy his image, to destroy his everything. Understand what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Understand you're dealing with the attack dog, and it's everywhere. At the workplace. When you go to the workplace, who's usually your manager? Some woman, some lady. I mean, let's begin. Let's start talking about this now, because I feel like we got enough people in the chat. Let's talk about this. Let's get into this. Let's get into why it's all around you. Yeah, Eve is a sad puppy. Eve is married to a rich millionaire white man with 4 children, basically playing the mammy. This is the so-called pit bull in a skirt, you see? With you, black man, she's a pit bull in a skirt, but for the white man, she's fucking Mrs. Doubtfire. You understand? For the black man, she's a pit bull in a skirt. Oh, shit. She's a pit bull in a skirt. Damn, this shit is breaking up again. Some people hear me, some people don't. Alright, let's try to get this right. A little choppy. Alright, give me 1 second. Let me try to fix something. One second. Alright. Okay, so, just made a couple of adjustments, the best I could. Try to see what's going on here. See why this is acting so shaky. Yeah, lagging again. Sheesh. Seems like the chat is a little slow too. Like the conversation is a little behind. Alright. Yeah, it's definitely very low frequency out in the world today. A lot of brothers gotta understand that your image right now is very important. You have to understand that when you go out into the street, a lot of people are beginning to come up with new stereotypes. You got to understand that because of the internet, because of YouTube, because of social media, black men have been able to dispel a lot of the stereotypes against you. You've been able to prove that you are indeed good fathers, that you're not these deadbeats that women portray you to be. We know that you're not these savages. You understand? We've dispelled a lot of the prejudices against us. They know that intelligent black men exist. So now they have to come up with a new story to attack the good brothers now. You understand? Now you have to be the face of sexual depravity, because when they look at the average black man, image is not going to stop them from believing that can be you. You understand? Because if you walk around in a suit and tie, they can still believe that you're some type of sexually deviant person. Wish I can hear what you guys hear. So I can get a test and see how it sounds. How do you guys hear me now? I'm sorry about this, man, because you don't really know what it's going to do when you start these live streams. Let's see. Try to wait till I knew brothers were. Let's see. Top chat. Live. Still figuring this thing out. Is it still, hey, Fortitude? Yeah. They want, and then the guy that impregnated the woman that was in a vegetative state, they put his face all over the news, and all his information is up there. You know, they tried to make a mockery of him. You understand? But these white men who get caught in these similar situations, you never see them doing the perp walk or getting taken into court, and none of that. You understand? Just like back in the days, they're trying to make you into a sexual brute. They want to make the world, Matt, what's up? 7114. They're trying to make you into a savage. See, because every once in a while, we begin to show the world that we're not savages, and we are educated, and we are smart, and we are resourceful and industrious. We do have high spiritual faculties and high morality and character. And what they try to do is revert us back to savagery. They take that image off and put on the image of savages. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you have to move with more discernment. You have to be more intelligent about your choices. If you can, it's more important to try to get off the work plantation, get your own stream of income, try to work for yourself, because sooner or later it's going to be very difficult for men to be in the workplace. And all this is an exchange of resources. Women know that they can't get resources from marriage and men the way they used to. So now they're trying to use more skullduggery, such as child support and alimony and robbery that way. Now they're trying to make it where men will hardly be able to work in certain environments, which is the corporate environment, because we know that women want to be cozy in an air-conditioned building. They don't want to work outside, and they want to make it to where men have to do all the hard work and women get to sit in the corporate office nice and comfy. And they get that exchange of resources. See, you got to understand how greedy women are. You understand? Women want resources over everything. And they'll get them by any means. So now that men are waking up, women have, black women have taken that path a long time ago. A long time ago. And unfortunately, what we have to understand is that when you get out there into the world and you go into these corporate settings, think about all the rules that are being made up and put on the books now at jobs. You know, some of you brothers in the corporate world, and you can say, man, listen, I know how it is, but understand the environment in the corporate world is going to be so intolerable and insufferable for the average red pill man that they're going to force you out of it. Like I said, it's all around you. If you can see the steps that are being taken to isolate men and put men in an awkward position where they have to fight for themselves and depend on women for theirs, where you have to let a woman give you a job, you have to go to an interview and a woman has to interview you for a job. Understand? Got to think about all that. You know, a lot of the opportunities you're going to try to get is going to be based on what a woman says yes or no, yay or nay. Your life is going to be in the hands of them unless you free yourself now. That's why the red pill is so very important, because men have to figure out how to.
Hi, my name is Ranzo of the Melanated Files. We've interviewed over 100 people right across Asia, black people primarily. And there's one answer that seems to be consistent that I receive no matter who I interview, no matter where they're from. There's one answer that is the same amongst a variety of people. It does not matter if these black people hailed from Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, North America, wherever. This answer seems very, very consistent whether we asked the men or the women, what do you like the most about this country in Asia or that country in Asia? And the question that we're going to try to answer with this documentary is, why are black people moving to Asia? So, what do you like the most about Japan?
This sounds a little strange, a little hyperbolic, but here in Japan, I am a free black man. I came here when I was 21. It's the first time, well, that was almost 40 years ago. Next January will be 38 years ago, nearly 40 years ago. But living here, I feel free. I don't fear the police. I don't fear white people. I don't fear black people. I don't fear young people. I feel like a free black man. Actually, just a free man. And I'm not exaggerating here. Forgive me if it sounds hyperbolic, but no, really. If for some drastic reason Japan changes, I go somewhere else, no one breaking into my car, rob my house, I forget to lock the door. You know, sometimes, I go to sleep and the door is wide open, and, literally wide open. I don't get robbed. I don't get physically assaulted. And if that's not, I don't know what is. I'm Robert Jefferson. I live here in Kamakura, which is south of Yokohama and south of Tokyo. About an hour south of Tokyo, a half hour south of Yokohama. I am a broadcast journalist. I've been in Japan for almost 38 years. I've been a broadcast journalist for 43 years. And currently I work for Japan's public broadcaster, NHK, Nippon Hoso Kyokai, the Japan Broadcasting Corporation. And I'm also an adjunct professor at Temple University. I teach the history of journalism and ethical issues in journalism.
My name is Nima Okal. I am originally from Kenya, but I've lived in the US most of my life. And now I am living in Singapore, and we are at Marina Bay Sands.
Salibonani, ibizolo lami Nqabeni Butheleze Msimanga. My name is Nqabeni Butheleze Msimanga. I'm originally from Zimbabwe. But otherwise, out here, where I live, I'm known as Q. Everyone calls me Q because Agula Muntu who can say Ngabeni. No one can say that word, that name. And I have been in Singapore for 7 years. So I'm a menswear designer, I'm a personal stylist, I'm a tailor, and an all-round fabric enthusiast. And I operate my own brand known as The Prefecture, fine menswear. So I specialize in personalized, customized wardrobes for people.
Well, I think black people are moving to Asia is because they are seeking something new, something different, something safer. I think physically we're safer here. Opportunistically, there's more going on here. We can follow our dreams. We can experience new things, things we never thought we'd ever do before. And whether it's Japan or China or Vietnam or South Korea or Singapore, wherever, new doors are opening. New vistas are on the horizon. And I think that is what we as
ain't this a bitch?
Yeah, we were really anxious to get here too, weren't we?
Hey, what's that old timer doing here?
Got the right beat, old man bone, that's me.
That's okay, I got right beat. I make sure I don't see them no more. When I walk past them, I keep my eyes to the ground. I ain't seen a white for 100 years, and they ain't seen me. I got 'em beat.
Look at all this stuff white threw out. They don't know I'm taking it down. Hey, look at here. What I tell you? A natural cotton sweater. A natural cotton sweater. I done about everything. Blacksmith, shoe shine, cotton picker, clean floors, done about everything, but never owned a natural cotton sweater. Got white meat, just like I said.
Only trouble lately, this load is getting too heavy to tote. I got a while till I find a place to lay my burden down.
You got excited over a goddamn old sweater. Don't blame him, man. His pappy was a slave. Some brothers got beat up so bad when they were young that they never come around. Ask Miss America.
Hey, honey, it has been good for us. Relationship has increased a tonfold these here few years. And I'm so happy and lucky to feel that we is finally getting it together. And you know where I'm coming from? So how about Miss America coming over to my place and let me squeeze your tits? Oh, I should have fucked her when I had the chance.
That nigga could be right.
What you gonna do, Rabbit?
I still want to see what else is happening here.
Welcome to the Thinking Man's Templar, the place where we say one red pill life far outweighs a million blue pill lives, and where the soldiers can come in from the war, remove their armor, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. And indeed, gentlemen, I am sincerely at your services once again. I want to thank all the brothers on my Patreon, all my brothers who support, all my brothers who support the TNT message. We greatly appreciate it. For all those who haven't yet, please check out my Patreon. I move my content there. It's upwards to 90 or 100 videos there. You can get your daily dose there. So, today, I wanted to talk about something. I had a video that I previously recorded that was deleted. It was my fault. I just ran out of storage. I should have deleted some things before I started it, but I did not. And that is my blunder, but I will try to convey the point again to the best of my knowledge. So, what I wanted to talk about today, or what I was talking about, was how the levels to the red pill, it has its points where it can no longer be sufficient to all men. And I was explaining, or I will explain, that this red pill thing, it's like, it's a road. It's a long path. It's a lifelong journey, right? And what we begin to realize in the manosphere is that a lot of men are beginning to drop off. They're beginning to take another path. They're changing their tone, their conversation, because in all, as we begin to peel down the layers of this conversation about culture, male and female dynamics, community issues, things like that, we begin to realize that as the onion's layers begin to unpeel, that there are places that a lot of men have yet to accept certain truths. And a lot of these things a lot of men will never accept for the simple fact that it goes against what they actually live in their lives. See? A lot of men can easily listen to red pill content and learn how to mimic the talking points, find ways to speak as if this is who they really are, as if they're this sacred son who has all this information, yes? And then they can play that role and be very convincing. But over time, you realize that a lot of men begin to change up their story, they switch up their tone, because eventually a lot of men didn't realize how far this thing goes, how deep it goes, and the path of the red pill, or the so-called red pill, is one that every man can't journey. It's like a highway that spans through infinity. That a lot of men realize that this path, it goes further than they can actually go. Like in the Matrix, right? Cypher in the Matrix, he wanted out because he didn't want to go where they were planning on going, which was eventually conflict with the machines, war, casualties. He didn't want that. He wanted to get dropped off where he was. He said, you know what, I'm ready to go back. And a lot of men realize on this red pill journey that no matter what, they can try to take this journey as far as they want, but there's going to be a point, like just like in a highway, there are different towns, there are different exits, and some people go as far as they can go, and they turn around, or they get off at their exit and they're at their destination as far as they want to go, right? And you realize this with a lot of content creators. They reach the highest they can go, or the furthest they can go, and it's time to turn around and go back home, or stay where they are, because the lifestyle that the red pill is offering, or insisting, or inviting them into, does not match the life that they live. And in integrity, they can no longer, in good conscience, continue what they've started, because at this point it goes against everything they are, right? There are men who are family men, and they have children, they have wives, they have careers, they have certain things that are no longer go with the rhetoric, so to speak. So they're conflicted with the rhetoric. They're constantly battling it. They're constantly at war with it. They're constantly attacking the men who believe in the ideology, because they realize that it conflicts with them, who they are. So they attack it as an ideology. You see what I mean? And you have to understand that every man can't take this journey the full length, the distance. They can't go the distance because they can't. See, a lot of men, when this first started, they didn't know that the roads would lead to men checking out. They thought men would check out but remain present. They didn't know that it meant that men would check out and really leave. And now, in that conversation, you realize that men can no longer take this journey. They're tapping out, so to speak. They've gone the distance. They can't go any further because they realize that this is the furthest they can go. They've reached their exit. You know, it's like in Boys in the Hood. When Trey was riding with Doughboy to get revenge on Ricky. He knew what he thought he knew he was ready for what they were going to do. Right? In the movie, he thought in his rage, when he walked out, and his father checked him and said, "Go in your room, boy, you're not built for this." He thought in his emotion, he thought he could mimic the street dudes who are really about the killing. He thought that he could pretend to be what was required to get revenge on the killers of Doughboy's brother. He thought that he had what it took. And then when he realized that this is going to lead into something I cannot do, what did he say? Let me out, though. Let me out. I can't go with y'all no more because I'm not willing to risk. I'm not willing to take the chance. I'm not willing to take the leap that you guys are willing to take. I'm just not. And he had to turn around and get let out. And that's what a lot of brothers are now having to do when it comes to this red pill conversation, especially as it's beginning to evolve into black pill. A lot of brothers really can't go that far because they realize that it's going a place that they do not wish to, and they cannot go. You understand? Because the red pill philosophy still has a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So it's kind of like saying, we're going to show you what it is. And in turn, we're going to teach you how to navigate and avoid the pitfalls. And the black pill philosophy is saying there's no way to avoid them. Right? Either you play or you don't play. You will eventually get caught up. I don't care how much advice you think you're taking, how much understanding of female nature you think you're ingesting, that you will eventually reach a point that you cannot go. That's why the dating coach thing is so big, because it's kind of like teaching men how to exist in the game. You understand? It's teaching you how to exist with what you know. It's teaching you how to navigate and how to play the game when there's really no game to play. You understand? Like that game will eventually, you will eventually lose. There's no way around it. You understand? The black pill philosophy is like knowing that this is it and there's no going back. Only a select few can take that walk, and the rest will begin, to hit their parachute, right? Pull their ejection button. They're not going to be able to take it where it's going to go. You understand? It's like you're in a fighter jet, and the fighter jet is making a straight 12 o'clock ascension into the atmosphere. Eventually, that co-pilot, if he's not ready to go where they're going, or the G-force or the altitude is getting too much for him, he's going to hit that eject button and shoot out. Or another analogy, it's kind of like, people that travel to the depths of the ocean. The pressure, the darkness, the unknown. A lot of people can't go that far. There's equipment that can't go that far. If you have a submarine that is built to go to the furthest depths of the trenches of the ocean, is several miles below the surface, there's submarines that aren't, right? There's submarines that can't go that far. They'll crush under the pressure. So they have to go distance and then work their way back up because they can't keep going the depths that this can actually go. Once you've accepted everything about the culture, about the mating dynamics, about everything, about society, about politics, about religion, all of these things that you accept, there's a whole nother fathom of depth that you can go that a lot of men who claim to be red pill or have claimed to be, they cannot travel to those depths, those fathoms, so to speak. They have to turn around and go back. They have to make their way back to the surface because they don't want to go that realm. They don't want to go that far. They don't want to go into the deep depths of the ocean or the deep space, so to speak, where things are not known. Where there are no answers, there are no red pill solutions for what you will find there if you dare travel that far, right? They don't have the heart. They cannot withstand the pressure, right? And what you as a man who has chosen to take this as far as it can go, if you realize that you're willing to go as far as it can go, and it can go a lot further than any of us can imagine, beyond the stretches and the expansions of all your thoughts and imagination, this red pill, black pill game goes. And a lot of men are not, and I repeat, are not willing to take that step. Because where it goes, some of them realize they will never be able to come back from that. And some realize, due to the lives that they created, they can't even risk it. You see what I'm saying? So when this begins to take brothers out the country and onto greater and bigger expansive things, a lot of men begin to curtail and turn around. And they shout at you from distances. Don't go, don't jump. Don't travel to those depths. Don't go out to deep space. You don't know what's there. You can get hurt. God doesn't want you to do it. You know, whatever. Some of them even project and say that you're weak or whatever the case because of your choices to take this even further. You strapped on your diving gear and you're willing to take that leap off the edge of the cliff at the bottom of the ocean. You understand? You've reached that cliff and there's a whole nother depth that you can dive off that they're not willing to do. So when you're willing to dive off that cliff, you're automatically showing their cowardice. Yes? So they turn around and go back and they yell at you from a distance. Kind of like a ghost would living and try to get acknowledgement. See, these men don't exist in my depths. They don't exist in the fathoms I've chosen to go, and I'm willing to go. And a lot of other men are willing to go and have gone. See, you don't exist in my world. It's kind of like a dead spirit trying to get communication with the living. See, I see ghosts. I see them. I just don't communicate with them. That's why TNT stays in his little pocket. And know what I do. I don't get my feathers ruffled. And I don't care what others speak in reference to me. Because I don't talk to ghosts. I know they exist. And I know that the only thing that the undead really want is to be amongst the living again. And to be acknowledged by the living. Because a lot of the times, the dead don't even know that they're dead. They don't even realize that they're in purgatory. Some of them are in purgatory, screaming out to the living, wanting to be acknowledged. And that the living is living their life. And they have no time to acknowledge a spirit that doesn't know it's dead. I see ghosts. That's why people call me ghosts. Because I'm where I want to be. I'm hard to find. If I don't want to be seen, you won't see me, right? But I am indeed living. There is blood pumping through my veins every day. In the places that this understanding, this ideology has taken me, I'm excited for the lifelong journey that I can freely embark on.
I did too.
While the ghosts are screaming out for acknowledgement of the living, please see me. Don't you see me? I'm here. I've been here for a long time. But while you wander around your graveyard and scream to be acknowledged by the living, understand that you don't exist to me. Because really, what can a actually do to the living? You see ghost hunters, what do? Knock over a table, move a chair, make a cabinet open on its own. Really, that's it. Make little noises, booga booga, booga booga booga, from the basement, hoping to get acknowledged. Because when you acknowledge the dead, you're giving them their power. They're saying, oh, so they can see me. Yeah, I can see you. But what I choose to do is leave you in that dimension, that realm of the deceased that cannot and does not affect me at all. See, what these spirits understand, that eventually you cause a ruckus, a little disturbance, and what people begin to do is they leave, they move out, they move on, they ignore the spirit and they go. And what happens is the spirit is left to dwell in that house, because there's no such thing as a haunted house if there's no one there to acknowledge the spirit that's haunting it. See, I'm going into a black pill conversation. So a lot of men will understand this and a lot won't. It's just like if you hear a tree fall in the forest and there's no one around to hear it, does it make a sound? If there's a spirit dwelling around, a dead spirit that doesn't know it's dead, dwelling in purgatory, in a haunted house, and there's no one there to haunt, does it even exist? And that's what I pose. Do these spirits even exist in the realm of the living? The men who are traveling, going out to see the world, experiencing greater things, newer foods, different cultures. Yeah, even other women. There are men out there getting wives, starting families. Don't let these men tell you that this doesn't exist, because it does. And another example I want to make is like, I don't drop videos very often, right? Everyone knows that about me. You know, I see when people acknowledge me and they say my name in the comments, they say, yeah, he creates dope stuff, but he doesn't drop like that. He's not frequent in this space. You know, I might average one video a month, if that, right? Because I exist in the realm of the living. And what I do is I have the ability to turn YouTube off. I turn the manosphere off. A lot of you men need to learn how to step away. Turn it off. Go create another account where you have no red pill content. You know, on my other YouTube accounts, it's sports, movie reviews, cinema sins, you know, politics, news, travel, food, hip-hop, you know, things that I'm interested in, fashion, shoes, truck driving, motorcycles. These are the things I'm into. Spirituality. And I keep all these things in context, and I don't let the red pill stuff exist. And here's a heads up. No one in the red pill community even pops up on my feed. Ever. Not once. So you understand that it's easy for us to not exist in the grand scheme of what this community is. YouTube as a whole. You understand? There's channels that are in other languages, that all the comments and all the videos, once you travel into that part of the world, all the videos are in another language. The video title, the comments, the suggested videos. The red pill stuff does not exist in that world. When you think on the framework of certain YouTubers that have this arrogance, this megalomaniac mentality, this conceit due to the numbers or lack of they may have, understand that there are YouTubers on YouTube with 100 million subscribers. Understand that. 100 million. Making upwards between 20 and 25 million dollars a year off YouTube. They're young children who make millions of dollars unboxing toys on YouTube. Never seen their face one time. Just their little hands opening up Transformers and Lego blocks, giving a review, and they get endorsements, get videos sent by way of Hasbro and all these companies to review their toys as a promotion, and they get paid on top of YouTube. They get a new toy and they say, hey, would you mind reviewing our toy? And the parents probably step in, yeah, his fee is whatever, 100K or whatever the fuck, and he has to go and review his toy. And YouTube is like PewDiePie, always got his way up in the high numbers that are going on talk shows and certain fashion models, makeup artists that go out and get paparazzi following them around for YouTube. And you think about someone who has 20,000, 40,000 subs in our little sector of YouTube, and really realize that I don't ascribe to that big fish in a small pond mentality. Never have, never will. And that's the mentality that a lot of men have. They have this big fish in a small pond mentality. I'm the big fish. I've dwelt around in this pond for the longest, but it's a small pond. And once you venture outside of it, you realize that there's a lot more going on than what goes on in this small sector of YouTube. So it's nothing to ponder on or nothing to get bent out of shape over. So when dudes come to me dropping links and telling me this and telling me that about who says what about TMT, understand, man. I don't see ghosts, man. I don't talk to ghosts. I only exist amongst the living. They can dwell around their YouTube graveyards for as long as they like, hoping to get acknowledged, hoping to make a sound, and someone says, what's that? You heard that? Something goes bump in the night. That's all they want, is someone to acknowledge when they go bump in the night. Where I'm going in this life, where I plan on going, no man can put asunder. No man's words can thwart or stop, put a hindrance or affect me in any way. This is in YouTube and this is in real life. There's nothing that any man or woman can say to me that even matters less than a drop of spit. That's why I say, all your negative comments, hence negative videos or negative commentary, and regardless to me, remember, every minute you spent writing that comment, for it never to see the light of day, every minute you spent digging up and conjuring and thinking and pondering and editing and recording and uploading and rendering something against me will never see my eyes or my ears. And that time you spent, whether it was 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, that time belongs to me. And one day, You will sit on your deathbed and you will think back to that 10 hours you wasted making the videos about other grown men. That time you wasted sitting at your computer, thinking. That time you wasted pondering about what can you say about TMT? What can I do to expose this man that I don't know and I will never know? I will never meet. This man who doesn't have any other forms of social media that he even takes seriously or even has the apps on my phone. You understand? Because I exist amongst the living. Social media in certain aspects is nothing but a graveyard where the dead like to roam and pretend that they're alive when they're really not. It doesn't matter to me. Because once I close this app or sign out of it, you don't exist. Please understand that. You do not exist. And that's what the reality is. You don't exist in my world. And you never will. I see ghosts, but I choose not to acknowledge the presence of the undead. You need to worry about how to get out of purgatory, my friend. Because as this red pill thing begins to unravel, and brothers start going into black pill understanding, and where it leads them. Because understand, every person who's ever left their country or their home base to start a life anew, every immigrant from every part of the world who's crossed the border into another land, they had to be red-pilled in some type of way as to what goes on in their society. And they had to make a choice to say, I will no longer tolerate this. I have to move on. So it's interesting that people have a problem with that. When this country is founded on immigrants, the infrastructure, the power base, the workforce, is of people who chose to leave another place in search of something better. And it's their God-given right to do so. And so is it the God-given right of black men to go out and find what's better for them, whether it's temporary or permanent. Because I believe in the future, it's going to start becoming real permanent for a lot of men. And they're going to figure out ways to get gone and stay gone. And a lot of this shit is not going to exist in their world. Please understand. I don't care what any man says to me. And by the time that shit even reaches the internet, I'll be on the other side of the world. Not even thinking about it. That's what you gotta understand. It's not stopping it. It's speeding up the process. It's not keeping men from it. It's making more men do it. More and more men are like, I just came from the passport office yesterday. I'm leaving here. I got my ticket here. I'm gone. So imagine, in these little pockets of social media, where there are people at the same time on the same platform who have hundreds of millions of subscribers and millions of dollars in fame from the same platform. Makes you think. Are we really big fish in a small pond? Is that really what men choose to be? I don't want to be a big fish in a small pond. I want to be a shark in the ocean. You understand that great whites swim across the world to find better waters when the temperatures change, when the weather, the seasons change? Geese and ducks fly to different points of the country when the seasons change, when it gets too cold for them to survive. It's a part of life. It's a part of nature, ever standing and forever standing, and it will never change. Migration is what it is. Animals do that. Humans, mammals. It's a part of life. It's what life is. Because the red pill says, yeah, we can lower you down. It's like the person in the shark cage, right? You know, you watch Shark Week and they got these divers and they're diving off the edge of the boat and they drop it into the water, not too deep. They drop the chum or the blood or whatever into the water and they let the sharks begin to swim around and navigate. And basically what the dating coaches and these other blue pill, fake red pill guys do is they're providing you with the cage. And they're saying, yeah, we'll put you in the shark-infested waters, but here's a cage to keep you protected from the sharks that are waiting for you, you know? But never ever will they once dive into the ocean because they know the dangers that are there. Swimming amongst the sharks. See, there are divers who swim amongst sharks without a cage, right? Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it still exists. But there are also men who choose to not get in the ocean at all. And there are also men that choose to travel to the depths of the ocean. And there's men that won't even walk on the beach. They won't even put their ankles in the ocean. There's a difference. Same thing. It's just like Superman taking Lois Lane up and he's flying around and with her and she's all, wow, this is great. But if Superman chose to go up, he would eventually kill her. She could not go to the altitude he can go because he can go into space. She cannot. There's a limit that she cannot travel into because her life as a human being, a regular mortal in a regular world, this allows her the opportunity to go where Superman could go, who is infinitely free. That's what makes him super. He can do and go wherever he wants and nothing can stop him. That's freedom. That's what makes him Superman. You understand? If you ever saw the movie Brightburn, when the young boy took his mother up into the atmosphere, he took her up so high that she began to freeze. She couldn't go any higher. She was already dead anyway. You know? Just think about it. It's like when Iron Man and all these, you know, they go up into the atmosphere and Iron Man's suit shuts down. He can't go any higher. He begins to get frost on his suit. And then he went up so high that his suit just shut down. And he just fell. You know what I mean? Because Tony Stark didn't anticipate that reality. He didn't realize that the higher he goes up, or the deeper he goes, the higher he goes up, he's no longer going to be able to function in that realm of reality. He's going to fall back to earth. So what we see now in the manosphere is certain men that are realizing they didn't anticipate where this was going to go. And they realize that they've gone as far as they can go. Because in integrity, they can't really mimic this at this point. You know, you can mimic talking points, but living it, going out, and doing it physically is a whole different thing. And they realize they no longer can pretend. So they have to go back. Okay. They have to switch up. They have to do a 180 because they can't keep going. They can no longer keep